Hey everyone, it's day 18 and today I'll explain how I plan to make my grind fun. So obviously motivation doesn't last too long and most of the people, like if you look at the data, you will see that like 90 or 95% of diets fail, 90 or 95% of businesses fail in first 5 years, I think. And that data, if you look at it like that, seems disappointing. And someone would say, why would you even try if there is 90% chance you will fail? But you must see that those people who tried like that and failed mostly just relied on motivation. They didn't have any process that they planned to uh, use long term with discipline, like I do personally. So I like to set up a process that I'll use for the next few months, for example. And in that way, even if I'm not motivated, even if I feel like shit, I'll continue and use discipline to finish the work I want to do that day. So I watched Ali Abdal's video about one book called Actionable Gamification. And I wrote down some points from the book that I'll mention now and how I'll use them to make my work fun. And in that way, I won't even need motivation because the work will be fun. And as he said, I wrote it down, when the work is fun, productivity takes care of itself. So you can use that in your for your advantage. You just have to make the work fun. And here are the few points I wrote down. For example, first point is epic meaning and calling. This is when you do something that is a part of a bigger purpose. For example, buying a Tesla isn't a bigger purpose, but if I buy a Tesla, if I achieve my goals and dreams, I will be able to motivate other people to do the same because I will have credibility to talk about success. For example, now I know a lot of things from books and a lot of things from self-improvement and stuff like that, but who would listen to a 16-year-old kid who is broke? Nobody. And the way for me to gain credibility and respect is to achieve financial freedom as a young guy, and after that I will be able to pursue my bigger purpose, which is helping many more people achieve their dreams. So that's the point number one. And because of that, I'm motivated to do stuff because I have that bigger purpose to help thousands, if not tens of thousands of people achieve the same thing I will achieve. So the point number two is development and accomplishment. And in video games, for example, by the way, these points are used in video games to make them addictive, even though they might seem boring to your parents. For example, they might see what are you playing and they will say like, bro, how can you even play that? It's bullshit. But it makes video games addictive, these few points I wrote down. Second point is, as I said, development and accomplishment. And that point is about seeing progress, for example, that you see how you accomplish small goals and you are getting closer to the main goal. And that is very important because if you have just one long-term goal, it will be very hard to stay on track because it's so far away and you won't really be able to be motivated or even disciplined if you just have a long-term goal. For example, my goal of getting a Tesla, and if I had no other goals right now or for this summer or for this year or things like that, it would be really hard for me to stay motivated. So definitely a few things you can do as they are done in video games is to set smaller goals. Like in video games, you don't have just one level and you finish the video game, one hard level, but you have like 100 or 1,000 levels, and every single one of them, the next one is harder than the one before. And you should do the same in life to make achieving goals easier, because if you have a goal for the next week and you accomplish it, you will be motivated to do the next week and the next week. And if those goals were set right, you will achieve the long-term goal without much pain. Point number three, empowerment of creativity and feedback. This is used in video games, for example, when you get to a boss level that's really hard. and you don't really know how to be the boss, and you might even lose hope and say this is impossible. But if you keep trying, you will use your creativity to find a way to beat him, because you will die again and again and again, and maybe 26th try you will be the boss, because you tried a lot of different ways and one of them worked. You can use this in real life by, I'm thinking now, for example, I will need creativity to find a way to make money to buy a Tesla, to achieve financial freedom and stuff like that. Because there is no one way to do that. There is a ton of ways, and every one of them has its advantages and disadvantages. So I'll use my creativity to see which one works the best for me. Fourth point is ownership and possession. By the way, in the third point, I also wrote, he said, shorten the feedback loops. This is related to that long-term goals. The human brain is wired to prefer instant gratification over delayed gratification. And some nice goals we have are almost always delayed gratification. For example, working out. You will have to push through the discomfort now to have some results later, in a few months, in a few years, and stuff like that. But now you won't get any results, but you have to push. That's the opposite of, for example, what can I say? For example, junk food. You eat it now, you get that dopamine right now, and it feels good. So our brain isn't working for us in this case, and we will have to shorten the feedback loops for our long-term goals to see progress faster, to keep us going. For example, if you just have one goal for working out, for example, my goal for 2025 is to look like a Greek god. If you have that one goal that might take like 5 years or 8 years to achieve, it will be very hard for you to stay motivated, because our brain just prefers instant gratification. Our brain can't, on the subconscious level, think long term in that way. And we should shorten the feedback loops, for example, to have really short-term goals. Like you are doing the next workout, I want to do one more rep on this set compared to the last workout, and that will help. Fourth point, ownership and possession. This is exploited heavily by the video games, and that is when you have that feeling of power, like in video games. You are the character that literally fights demons, that fights some boss monsters. You are leveling up. Everything is in your control. But in real life, it's almost always much harder to achieve ownership and possession, like you can almost in the beginning have in video games. You can try to achieve this in real life with next 3 points: ownership of the outcome, ownership of the process, ownership of the belief. So, depending on what you are doing right now, you might not be able to implement all of these 3 things. But you will be able to implement at least one of them. For example, if you are at school, ownership of the outcome, you can't really know what grade you will get after doing that test. Ownership of the process, so there is a few ways you can do this, because, for example, you can choose how you will study. You can study using Pomodoro technique. You can study watching, I think some math lessons can be found even on YouTube. You can choose how to study. So you have ownership of the process, in my opinion. And that can help you have that feeling of power that it's in your control. You can choose how you will study. Ownership of the belief, you always have that. Because if you believe that studying will do nothing for you in life, you will obviously not be motivated to do it. But if you believe your life will be much better if you get good grades and get a nice job thanks to that, you will be more motivated. So yeah, that's the point number 4. Point number 5, social influence and relatedness. This is also exploited heavily in video games because almost always you will play video games that your friends play. Because, for example, your friend group, everyone plays League of Legends, for example. You will motivate each other. You will want to compete. You will want to achieve the goals together and stuff like that. So if you can align your goals with the goals of your friends, it will be much, much, much easier to keep being on track. But sometimes this is impossible, for example, in self-improvement, because do you know anyone else who wants to buy a Tesla or something like that as their long-term goal? So yeah, this sometimes can be hard, but we have other points that can be used. Other 3 points are a bit darker, Ali Abdal said. So, point number 6 is scarcity. For example, in video games, you can get one item if you push for a long time, and there is no other way to get it. For example, I remember when I played PUBG Mobile, there was those ranks, and if you achieved the biggest rank, Conqueror, you had to be like top 500 on the server. For example, I had to be top 500 in Europe in solo, TPP, to get that title. And it was really rare and hard to achieve. And that motivated a lot of people to push to get it. Then, for example, I can use this because I don't know anyone who has a Tesla. So I will be the first guy who has it, and that can motivate me to push harder because I will be the only one here in my city who has a Tesla. So, point number 7, unpredictability and curiosity. Video games are unpredictable sometimes, and that can be like fun. That triggers dopamine. This is used in casinos because you never know what you can expect. You can expect next. For example, you can lose all of your money or you can win $1 million. And this is used in casinos because it triggers dopamine and you can build addiction over time. Point number 8 is loss and avoidance. This is a nice point I'm using right now with my brother. And that is, for example, people sometimes really have fear of losing something or don't want to lose something. And you can use this by, if you want to achieve something, you have to have an accountability partner. For example, get a friend or a sibling, give him money that you wouldn't want to lose, give him that money and say, give it back to me when I achieve this. And if I don't do it, keep the money. And that will motivate you to not lose it because you don't want to lose $200. And yeah, I use this because if I miss a habit, I'll give $3 to my brother. And same goes for him. And we don't miss habits, we have huge streaks. I have streaks like working out. I haven't missed a workout in like more than 3 months, I think. Almost 100 days. 98 or 99 days, I think. Same goes for meditation, Wim Hof breathing, cold showers. I have over 150-day streak. NoFap streak, I think 220 days and stuff like that. So, yeah, those were the 8 points from the book. And I explained how you can use them, how I will use them. To make my grind fun, I plan to do the August just for grind. I plan to grind the whole August. For example, I'll make my diet even cleaner than now, my workouts even better than now. I'll use my phone even less, and I'll try to do more productive work, and I'll try to read a lot more. So yeah, also I'll try to record a few really nice videos that have edit, that are entertaining, that are more useful than these before, and yeah, I hope this video was interesting and may help you transform your life. Yeah, see you guys tomorrow.